my guest seated here. But before we begin the discussion, let's just go on a very short break. And when we return, Youth Time will begin. Stay tuned.
Show Season 3 is here.
It's that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition begins from 15th April to 30th June 2024.
Pick a form at Bainway Television, located at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makudi. Form costs 5,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 6th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership and inquiries, please call Benway TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 794 5569. Embracing fusion fashion.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Youth Time on Bainway Television, and we are going to be discussing and talking about the World Drug Day and the theme inclusive. I have with me a psychologist and also a drug abuse prevention and treatment professional in State Teaching Hospital, Department of Psychiatry. His name is Ajobe Ojebe. It's good to have you. Hope I did not bite my tongue too much.
Yeah. Thank you
And I
very
got the
much
name
for
correctly.
having me. Yeah, you didn't get the first name correctly. It's actually Aboje
Aboje.
Ojebe.
Okay, Aboje Ojebe. I take my correction. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, and it's good to have you once again on Youth Time.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, to yesterday in particular was it marked 26th of June. Every 26th of June marks the World Drug Day. That's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. But before we get into the main discussion, every year we have a theme for the year, and this year the theme is the evidence is clear, invest in prevention.
Yeah.
Which, from the look of things, we are looking at the prevention side. Delve into the main discussion. I just want us to just get an overview, starting from maybe just for our viewers, starting from maybe what drug abuse is and exactly why our young persons delve into drug abuse.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity to be on this program once again to discuss this important topic. This season is very crucial when you talk about issues relating to substance abuse, because we are still within that. We are still within the celebration period. The United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, UNODC, has designated this day, 26th of June, every year, which was yesterday, to mark. It's a worldwide event. See, it's a world event to mark and illicit trafficking. And you and I know, you will agree with me that the menace of drug abuse in the society is a problem. It's a very big problem. It's a problem to the family. It's a problem to schools. It's a problem to the workplace. It's a problem in the society generally.
And even to individuals.
And even to
own.
individuals. Here,
Mm.
beginning from individuals. You know, the theme for last year was, I think, has to do with, encouraging practitioners to be talking about prevention and treatment practitioners, and also encouraging people who have, who, let's say, who have loved ones that are into drug use. The theme for last year was about showing compassion to people with drug use problem, and also encouraging them to seek professional help.
Mm.
So, but we are looking at this year's theme, which is clearly invest in prevention.
Yeah.
Yeah, that simply means that it is evident by this evidence we are talking about is not by speculation. It's proven by research that it is better to prevent than to treat. It's better to stay off drugs than to get off drugs. It's better not to be involved in it at all, rather than you involved in it, an individual has gotten to a point of developing drug use problem, and then you are trying to come out of it. It is better to, to emphasize. It's better for practitioners and stakeholders in the field of drug demand reduction to emphasize prevention. So back to your question, drug abuse, according to the World Health Organization, defines drug abuse as the harmful and hazardous use of psychoactive substances, mind-altering substances. I'm trying to emphasize on the word psychoactive. Psychoactive substances, any substance, whether natural or call it naturally. When I say man-made, I mean prepared in the laboratory. Either it's natural or man-made, that when administered into the human body and assimilated into the bloodstream, alters the mind, has the potency to, alter the way an individual feels, the way an individual thinks and behave by altering, the activities of the central nervous system, which comprises the brain and the spinal cord. So, when you talk about drug abuse, there are a lot of substances of abuse. I'm just trying to, before we get into the meat of this discussion, I was trying to bring our audience out there up to speed, because what we have discovered is that a lot of people lack basic
knowledge.
drug abuse education, drug abuse knowledge. I've done a research in my own little, and I discovered a lot of parents, a lot of teachers, even employers, they lack this basic knowledge about drug abuse. And then when we try to talk about any aspect of drug abuse, we try to just bring this background to bring a lot of people up to speed. So there are a lot of, substances of abuse today, a lot of psychoactive substances that people abuse today. We have alcohol, which a lot of people are still finding it hard to believe that alcohol is a drug.
Wow.
Yes, yeah. I've had that argument a couple of times, when I go out to speak, and then somebody tell me, why are you mentioning alcohol as a psychoactive substance? It is. The World Health Organization, says they use the harmful and hazardous use of psychoactive substance, alcohol, and other illicit substances. So we have alcohol on the list. We have substances like cannabis, that is marijuana. We have there's cocaine, there is crack cocaine, we have methamphetamine, crack or ice. We have drugs like heroin, and then and a whole lot of them. There are even some that are self-discovered by street users. At every point in time, young people, keep trying to, come up with mixtures and come up with new discoveries about substance that, that can act on their brain and give them that's what they call the high. You see young people smoking dry pawpaw leaves, going to inhale, sock pits, you know, and all of that, and then other mixtures. You see them mixing codeine with Hollandia yogurt, or boiling Indian hemp in alcohol, in gin, and then filtering it to give them what they call monkey tail. And these are harmful polysubstances. That is to say, polysubstances in the sense that multiple psychoactive drugs. And why do they do this? In the quest to get high. You know, in the quest to get high, always in search of substances that can make them achieve certain level of highs and all of that, and that has constituted a problem, because you see, when individuals fail to reach their full potential and then become unable to contribute to their families, to their communities, and the society at large, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. And that is one of the objectives of drug abuse prevention, to ensure the safe and healthy development of young people, to be able to first develop their potential, to be able to reach their full potential, so that they can become contributing members of their families, their communities, as well as the society at large. And that is what the use of substance. There is an impairment in these areas. An individual's inability to reach their potential and then contribute to society, then that individual is completely impaired, and the functionality of such a person we can say authoritatively that person's
What about in
functionality.
situations where some people, it's not a situation of they are not able to reach their full potential, or maybe one or two factors are not affecting them, but they just find themselves, or they just get to indulge. They are doing okay for themselves as relative when it comes to the society. They are okay. Things are actually going well for them. They're in a stable situation, but they just find themselves indulging in drug abuse. What do you think may have caused or may have pushed them to go into this act?
All right. The factor that contributes to individuals using drug are multiple. You can't point and say, okay, this is one reason why this individual has taken to drug. If you say, okay, let's look at research has it that for example, children that come from deprived environment, children that are exposed to violence, to abuse, to poverty, children that have been seem to have been abandoned, they are at risk. They are most likely to develop problem behavior as they grow up. Problem behaviors like the use of substances. Okay, but we still find children who grew up in what I would call them a supportive environment, a functional family.
Yes.
Where there is warmth, where there is parent-child attachment, where they receive a lot of support, cognitive support, emotional support, as well as financial support, where such comfortable. But you still find that these children or individuals, still use substance, or they initiate drug use over the course of their life. Then you begin to wonder what is responsible for it. So what I'm trying to establish is that the factor that is responsible, when you talk about causal factor, the factors that are responsible for young people indulging in drug abuse is more than one, is multifactorial. For example, let's look at peer pressure. A lot of young people, I'm also in treatment. I am at the end point where people who have indulged in drug abuse, who have developed drug use problems, and they come to seek professional help. Either they come on their own by realizing, okay, I have a problem and I need professional help, or they are caregivers fully. And over time they become sober and say, okay, I am ready to go through the process of rehabilitation and recovery. When one of the things we do is we find out, we try to establish cause and effect. What led you into using drugs? And we heard this all the time: peer pressure. I started using drugs because my friends are using drugs. I
Maybe
found
curiosity.
yes, is one of it.
Yeah.
I found myself in this group of friends, classmates, friends in the neighborhood. They were using, and that's the way they look at me, because I'm not using. There is a level those that were using placed themselves and made me feel I can't belong to that level unless I start using. They painted a picture that drug use is it defines it defines socialization. I have to, civilization. Sorry, there is an aspect of civilization I cannot enjoy until I begin to take drugs. And you see, they keep pushing them, they keep pushing them. At the end of the day, some people they yield and they begin to use drugs. Number two, we have adolescence. Adolescence is a developmental stage, a window between childhood and adulthood. An adolescent is not a child, but not an adult. Are you with
You're
me?
trying to find yourself
Yes,
at that
it's
moment.
a window.
Yes.
Yes, I love what you said. Trying to find
yourself. Yeah.
The adolescent stage is characterized by a lot of imbalance, a lot of new feeling, because there are a lot of biologically, the hormones begin to take their toll on them, estrogen and androgen, testosterone, because that is where these people develop sexually. Both the primary sexual characteristics and the secondary sexual characteristics develop. You see the girl child developing breast, her hips becoming broader, hair in the pubic area, pubic regions for the guys and the ladies, the guys' voice becoming, deep and all of that. This with adolescents as a result of hormonal interaction, it predisposes these people. That imbalance you said, trying to find themselves. They can't go where children are because they are bigger than children. And they find it difficult mixing with the adults, because adults say you look like us but you are not us. Our reasoning is not the same. So the adolescents they are in a world. Are you with me?
Yes.
They are in a world of their own, and that is where a lot of experimentation takes
comes
place.
in.
Trying to experiment with sex, trying to experiment with alcohol, experiment with hard drugs, experiment with their emotions and all of that. You see the guys start having female crushes, the ladies are having male crushes. There is a lot of experimentation and curiosity associated with the adolescent stage. And it has that stage that a lot of adolescents begin to experiment with drugs. And drug use begins from the use of drug usually begins with experimental use. Let me experiment. Let me see how this thing looks like. I see people sit down, adults drinking beer. I want to know how this thing. I see people smoking cigarettes, smoking marijuana. I hear people talk about crystal meth. I hear people talk about these psychoactive substances around, especially social drugs, the ones that are legal, like alcohol and cigarette, nicotine. Normal cigarette you see people selling. They have to experiment. Let me see how this thing is. And some will experiment and then fall in love with the feeling and their discovery, what they discover, and it continues. Some will experiment and say there is no point.
Even for the fact that it's legal, some people like for the government to allow it to be there. That means it's right.
Yeah, then it's right.
It's right.
Yeah,
it's
so
okay.
a lot of experimentation takes place during the adolescent stage, and that is where they experiment, and then from experimental use they go into occasional use, from occasional use graduating to regular use, from regular use you see them developing tolerance and become dependent on this substance. That's what we call addiction. Then another factor again is media. Talking about advertisement, the media is not helping when it comes to the use of the media is not helping, especially alcohol. Alcohol is a social drug, but that doesn't take away its harmful effects. Both its harmful effect in terms of how that it alters the mind, but also what about the health implication, its impact on the liver, its impact on the body generally, aside the brain. But though it is a social drug. So the media presents alcohol glamorously. Go around the city of Makurdi. Try to look at billboards advertising alcoholic beverage. See the caption. See what they write. Like one I love to talk about this trophy advert, and they say a real son brings home the you see they keep using pictures of celebrities that young people idolize, like Yul Edochie, for instance. I'm sorry to say, Cubana chief priest Pete Edochie. You keep seeing their pictures behind bottles of trophies and Gouda. What message are you trying to pass? These people became who they are today by using this drug, by using this substance. They are trying to communicate that. They are trying to associate alcohol with the stardom that these celebrities are enjoying today. They try to associate it, that these people that you idolize, they are users. And if you aspire to be like them, you need to associate yourself with this substance. And a lot of these young minds, they fall for it. They begin to experiment.
Yeah.
And then we have other factors like the parental factor. When we talk about, I would like to say parental factor or family factor, which include, let's say, more you see in some homes, you see an older sibling using drugs, or the parent is a drug user, drinks alcohol, smokes cigarettes, and then other hard drugs, and these young minds are looking at their parents. Modeling. Children don't do what you tell them to do.
They do what they see.
They do what they see. Over time, they say, my father that pays my school fees, that gave birth to me, that is feeding me. If he's smoking and drinking, then there is no problem. Their own is the age of initiation. I can't wait to grow up so that I can begin to use. And it will interest you to know that these young minds, these young individuals, they initiate use of substance as early as age 10, 12, 13 thereabout. And also have other family factors like parenting style, and scholars who have done justice to classify it into three broad types. We have the permissive parenting, we have the authoritarian parenting, and we have the authoritative parenting in the middle.
Yeah.
Both extremes have been proven by research to influence the use of substances. Like when a parent is permissive, you leave children to themselves. Do what you want. Some will tell you, let the children have their way. Let them go out and come back when they want to come back. Where they, is a kind of parenting, is a kind of a laissez-faire parenting, where children are left to themselves. Even the Holy Bible says, a child that is left to himself brings home disgrace. And one of the disgrace they bring home is the disgrace of the use of psychoactive substance, and thereby losing the ability to reach their potential and then become contributing members of the family and society. Then the other extreme of authoritarian parenting is when you think you too much discipline.
We talked about something like this
too
last
much
week.
discipline. Too much discipline, trying to much from the child, demand the right kind of behavior, and then you even implement disciplinary measures that break these children. No emotional. When we're talking about family prevention in the family, I will talk on this.
Yes.
And all of that. But research has shown that the authoritative parenting, which draws the strength of permissive parenting, which is the warmth, the emotional warmth, and then also draws the strength of authoritarian parenting, which is discipline. You bring these two together. On one side, you are administering discipline. On another side, you are also providing emotional warmth. And in such parenting, the child is your friend. The child can tell you anything. The child can say, "Mommy, Daddy, my friends in class are talking about the use of psychoactive substance. Somebody is putting pressure on me. I have this. I belong to this peer group where they are talking about drugs. Where the child sees you as someone." So the parenting factor also have, under the family factor, also have inadequate parenting. Inadequate parenting where a child is not getting the attention he or she is supposed to get from family, either as a result of the death of one parent or both parents being too busy, pursuing career, pursuing money. They don't have the time the child requires to grow. They are not involved in the child's life. They don't know where the child is, at a particular time, or what the child is doing. So uninvolved parent, as a result of inadequate parenting, puts children at risk of initiating problem
Yes.
behaviors like substance abuse, as
Yeah.
well as other factors such as unemployment,
Yeah.
frustration,
We'll get to
mental
that.
health issues.
Yes,
and all
we'll get
of
to that very soon. But for now, we are due for a very, very short break. And when we return, we are going to delve into the main discussion for today, which is the theme for this celebration. So stay tuned, and when we return, Youth Time will continue.
Benway Fashion Show Season 3 is here.
It's that time of the year for fashion designers, entrepreneurs, and fashion enthusiasts to shine.
This year, sale of forms for the competition begins from 15th April to 30th June 2024.
Pick a form at Benway Television, located at Special Duties Wing, Government House, Makudi. Form cost 5,000 naira only.
Stage 1 screening begins on the 6th of July 2024. Great prizes await you.
The first prize, 1 million naira. Second prize, 500,000 naira. And third prize, 300,000 naira. All prizes are inclusive of cash and fashion tools. Also, consolation prizes and gift items.
For sponsorship, partnership and inquiries, please call Benway TV Marketing on 0906 188 9838 or 0703 5569. Benway Fashion Show, embracing fusion fashion. Benway.
Glad to know that you're still with us. This is still Youth Time on Being Television, and we have been discussing the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. We still have a guest in the studio with us, and right now we are going to be talking about the theme for this year, which is the evidence is clear. Invest in prevention. So, Mr. Ojebe, so it's clear. Invest in prevention. What does this theme entails for us this year? From your own side as a psychologist, what do you hope to achieve? What's this theme trying to pass? What's the message it's trying to pass across this year?
Okay. Thank you very much. The theme for this year's celebration is the evidence is clear. Invest in prevention. In drug abuse is the fight against drug abuse. Either in prevention or in treatment. It's evidence based. Our strategies, the strategies are evidence based strategy. When you say something is evidence based, it means the intervention has been created based on available research findings.
Yeah.
So this evidence we are talking about is backed by research. It's clear. Research has shown that prevention is more effective than treatment.
Yeah.
In as much as treatment is available, the evidence is clear. Research has shown that when we want to fight, to cover more grounds in the fight against drug abuse and illicit trafficking, prevention is going to be more effective than treatment. This is the problem with treatment. When an individual gets involved with the use of substance, and to a point he or she develops what we call substance use disorders, which is also known as dependence or addiction, it's a problem. Let me define addiction quickly. Addiction is defined as a chronic relapse brain disease, which is characterized by compulsive use of substances despite its negative consequences. It simply means that an individual has used substance until he or she has, the substance has so affected his or her brain,
and
such
even
that
the body system,
so that this person will keep keep craving for this substance
and
despite the negative consequences. Health, financial consequences and on. The person will be unable to help his or herself. In that case, the person, there is problem already. And then when we bring such an individual into treatment, what we call rehabilitation, and then we are able to help the individual rehabilitate to a point which takes a minimum of 6 months and a lot of money. It is not a guarantee that the person will stay off drugs for life. There is a tendency that that individual can slip.
Relapse.
Yes, you're using the term, can relapse. Relapse is that person goes back to the pre-treatment condition as if he or she has not undergone rehabilitation. Then you find some persons coming, you find some persons being in rehabilitation. They will tell you, this is my 3rd time in treatment, this is my 4th time in treatment, and all of that. So that is the challenge of treatment. So the only way we can make headway is to emphasize on prevention. The team is telling us, let's stakeholders consider investing more in prevention. This was my story. This is my story, rather. I started my journey in DDR as a treatment practitioner. But over time, seeing my patients relapsing, even on the street of Makurdi, I have seen about 3 or so clients that were in the facility where I practiced many years ago on the street as full-blown psychotic patients. They are psychotic. They have become what we call mad. I recognize them. They also recognize me. So I see my patients relapsing. I say, no, is there a way we can go into prevention? Is there a way we can prevent this issue? Is there a way we can start talking to young individuals, start talking to parents, start talking to stakeholders in the field, to see how we can achieve prevention? Because there is a general say that prevention is better than what?
Cure.
Than cure.
Yeah.
And prevention is less expensive than cure. That is what the UNODC is telling all the stakeholders in the field of DDR today. Invest and all of that. So that is what the message the team is trying to convey.
Okay, so right now we are advocating for prevention, advocating that prevention is better than cure. So how can the society, how can stakeholders, what are the ways in which they can go about to, be able to make people aware or be able to prevent this from happening? What are those things they can do that can be able to foster prevention of drug abuse in the society?
Okay, thank you very much. First and foremost is to become part of the prevention workforce.
Okay.
How do you become a part of the prevention workforce? Passion is not enough. Having the drive to be involved in substance use prevention is not enough. Next thing to do is build capacity, build competence. There are trainings. I didn't just become a passion or the fact that I studied psychology. There were trainings I gave myself also. I attended trainings. We have, the universal prevention curriculum. Yeah, there are organizations, that provide these trainings. I did my training. I was trained in Lagos many years ago, and then we were armed with the knowledge and the skill to go and implement prevention. And you see, prevention is not as technical as treatment. Anybody can become a prevention practitioner, irrespective of your discipline. You're a psychologist, you're a nurse, you're a trader, you're a teacher, even as a communicator, a trained communicator. You can go and get trainings. The trainings are even done online. And there is this International Society for Substance Use Professionals, ISO. It's online. You can join ISO online and you'll be certified. But the most important thing, you are armed with the knowledge and skill to know exactly what to do. But like I said, our strategies both in treatment and prevention is evidence-based. What you are going to be exposed to is evidence-based strategies that have been proven by research that it works and that is effective. It's one thing to be doing something, and it's another thing to know that what I am doing is effective. Initially, when I was just being driven by passion alone, I'll go to schools, gather the students and say, come, let's talk about drug abuse prevention. I'll go and start talking about the different kind of drug of abuse and all of that, and then consequences of substance abuse. What I was doing, I was providing awareness. What I was doing was awareness campaign. And research has it that awareness campaign is not effective. Awareness campaign is not effective.
Let me cut you short from there. You have talked about trainings and even the fact you have stated that awareness campaign is not very effective. Now I want us maybe look at something very practical. we know, yes, the NDLEA is doing all they can, gather all these hard substances in the society which amount to drug abuse and everything. But is there something or laws that the government can enforce or bring in that will be able to ban these drugs, or make the strength or the fight against, to be able to do away with all these drugs in the society, to reduce it to the barest minimum?
Okay. The government is already doing that. When the retired Colonel or Brigadier General Buba Marwa took over as the chairman of NDLEA, he has, during the past administration of the president, then President Muhammadu Buhari, he launched this war against drug abuse, WADA. And you see, there are legislations about drug trafficking and availability of drugs. You see, the government is already doing that through the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. The job they are doing is drug supply reduction. And what they are doing, as enshrined in the law, is suppliers of illicit drugs, traffickers, suppliers, dealers, and they are effectively doing that. But you see, that is why it's a fight. As they are working, tracking down these traffickers, as I speak to you, the traffickers and dealers, they are also scheming out ways to outsmart the enforcement agencies, looking for new routes, looking for new ways of trafficking this substance and keeping their trade going. They are always a step ahead, and the government through NDLEA is also trying to track down. That is happening. One of the reasons why people use substance I didn't mention is drug supply. If there is supply, demand will begin to grow, in the direction of the supply. So what the NDLEA is doing is to track down supply. What we prevention and treatment practitioners are doing is also to fight from the demand aspect. So when demand is reduced, supply is also reduced drug abuse, and with time we'll be able to achieve a drug-free society.
All right.
But in practical prevention, we look at prevention across the different agents of socialization. The prevention science is built around the development of young people. Before I go on, I would like to state that the general objective of drug abuse prevention is to enhance the healthy and safe development of young people, to be able to reach their potential and become contributing members to their family and society. And the specific objective is to help young people avoid or delay the initiation of substance, or if they have started using, prevent them from developing addiction. So, and we look at how these young people develop. If you're able to help a young child develop healthily, you are implementing prevention. And from the evidence-based approach, prevention can be done at home. We have prevention in schools, we have prevention in workplace, we have prevention in the society, in the community. All of these 4 areas or 4 platforms are already existing agents of socialization. And these agents of socialization, when they fail to, socialize the individual and meet developmental milestones as the individual grows up, there becomes a gap in the individual's development, and that can predispose these young people to problem behaviors such as substance use. And in the family, for instance, when we want to take prevention to family, we are looking at the parenting. We are looking at parents. That's the way parents will parent children. They'll become vulnerable. I said a few things about parenting. We hammer on parenting. How is the home? How is the atmosphere at home? How warm is the home environment? What is the parent-child attachment? What is the parent-child relationship? How is it like? Is the home? How are the children parented? What values are passed down into the children? So we can begin prevention from the home. How knowledgeable are parents about drug abuse? What is your relationship with the child? Are you abusing the child? Does the child feel safe? Is there stress in the family? Is the family a dysfunctional family? The society is the mirror of the family, because everything begins from family. A dysfunctional family, A functional adult cannot emerge from a dysfunctional family. If family is dysfunctional, society will be dysfunctional.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And then before I also
Sorry about that. I would have
Thank
loved
you
that
so much.
you actually continue, but sadly we don't have enough time. Our time is already up, and I think we'll have to make provision for another time when we'll come and discuss this in full. But it has been an interesting episode so far, and I'm very glad this is out and we're able to talk about this today. Thank you very much for
thank
coming.
you so very
Thank you
much
so
for
very
having
so.
me.
Yes, and I hope you listen to our viewer out there. I hope you listen to us and you're able to get something for this. To our young persons, the drug will do you no harm. Please do not indulge in it. Families, parents, you have a role to play. You need to be very careful with your children, pay close attention, and give them a very warm environment. And the society, we also have something to play. Let's all put hands on deck and be able to fight the issue of drug abuse in the society. This is where we draw the curtain for today's episode of Youth Time. So till I come your way next time with another interesting topic, my name remains Dorcas Chia. Have a lovely week and a drug-free week. Goodbye.